What's going on, everyone? This story isn't just basketball. What's unfolding right now with Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham, and a petition calling for a federal investigation into the WNBA? It's one of the biggest fan versus league battles we've seen in years, and here's the kicker. If the DOJ and FTC actually step in, the WNBA might not walk away the same league it was. This isn't just about a game. This is about money, trust, and betrayal. It all starts with a petition, not some casual "we want better jerseys" type of thing. No, this one is demanding the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission investigate what fans are calling misleading practices by the WNBA and the Indiana Fever. Think about that for a second. A federal investigation into a sports league. The petition claims fans were tricked. They bought tickets, streaming packages, and loaded up on merch because the league made them believe Caitlin Clark was about to return. The language is harsh. Coordinated misrepresentation. Economic harm inflicted. This isn't just fan frustration. This sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Imagine buying a ticket for Beyoncé only to find out it's a karaoke night at Applebee's. That's how Fever fans feel. Quick question. Would you sign that petition? Drop a yes or no in the comments right now. But here's the part that stings. It's not just about one missed game. It's about whether fans can trust the league at all. Here's where things get suspicious. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White went on ESPN around August 12th and told everyone Caitlin Clark was close to returning. Sounds great, right? Except Caitlin had been injured on August 7th, and insiders say the team already knew she wasn't ready. So why say otherwise? Enter Scott Agnes, local reporter, longtime Fever voice, and according to fans, Stephanie White's messenger, her minion, the guy who always seems to soften the bad news after the hype train leaves the station. And sure enough, just days later, Agnes walked it back. Clark isn't coming back after all. Coincidence or coordination? It feels like a bait and switch. Pump the hype, sell the tickets, then quietly pull back. It's Batman and Robin, so only instead of saving the day, they're saving revenue. But here's the pattern break. If coaches and reporters are working together to mislead, how far up does this really go? And let's not forget Sophie Cunningham. Her injury against the Fever turned into its own controversy, and now whispers of a civil rights lawsuit are growing louder. The claim that certain players, Caitlin Clark included, are being singled out, targeted, or flat out mistreated. Now, nobody's saying the lawsuit has been filed yet, but the fact that it's even being discussed, that's huge, because once the civil rights case hits the courts, everything becomes public. Emails, internal messages, medical records, the stuff fans suspect but can't prove, it all becomes evidence. And if bias or favoritism is proven, the WNBA won't just have a PR problem, it'll have a credibility crisis. Real quick, do you think this belongs in court? Comment lawsuit if you do. But here's the twist. This isn't just about basketball. It's about equality, fairness, and whether the league is protecting all its players the same way. To understand why this blew up, you have to understand Caitlin Clark's rise. She isn't just another rookie. She's the most hyped women's basketball player in decades. At Iowa, she broke scoring records. She drew record-breaking TV audiences. She sold out arenas. And when she got drafted to the WNBA, she didn't just join the league, she changed it. Teams that were irrelevant suddenly mattered when Clark came to town. Every game felt like an event. She was the rising tide lifting all boats. So when she got hurt, it wasn't just an injury, it was a threat to the entire business model. That's why fans think the league fought so hard to keep hope alive, because if Caitlin's sidelined, ticket sales drop. Ratings dip, merch doesn't move, and that kind of reality, the WNBA doesn't want to admit it, but here's something people forget. The Fever have been struggling for years. Their last championship, way back in 2012. Since then, constant rebuilding, empty seats, headlines about losing streaks instead of wins. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a player to them, she was the golden ticket, the savior. So ask yourself, would a desperate franchise be willing to bend the truth to keep fans hopeful? History suggests yes, and this isn't just about one injury report. This is about a franchise that's been drowning for years, finally getting a life raft. And not wanting to admit it had holes. And here we hit the core issue, money. The petition doesn't dance around it. It accuses the WNBA of valuing revenue streams over honesty. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were misled. At least that's what the petition argues. It says there were coordinated efforts between league officials and team doctors to mask the truth, that every optimistic update wasn't just wishful thinking, it was strategy. The words are strong. Economic harm inflicted, consumer deception, facade of hopeful updates. And those aren't the words of upset fans. Those are the words of plaintiffs preparing a case. And if you're still locked in, subscribe right now. Because trust me, this story is only getting bigger. And here's the cold truth. Once a league burns fan trust, it's almost impossible to win it back. Remember the All-Star game? Leading up to it, the league kept dangling Caitlin Clark's possible return. Fans bought in. They booked hotels, they bought flights, they cleared their schedules, and then, just days before tip-off, the announcement, she's not playing. By then, the money was already spent. Fans are calling it what it looks like, a setup. And when you see the timing, it's hard to argue. The league could have told fans weeks earlier, but they didn't because hope sells, and once hope is gone, so are ticket sales. And here's the thing. This isn't new in sports. The NBA went through it with load management. Fans paid top dollar to see stars like Kawhi or LeBron, only for them to sit out. The backlash was huge. The NFL dealt with it during the concussion scandals, hiding the truth about brain injuries until lawsuits forced it into the open. And now the WNBA? Fans believe it's walking a dangerous line of its own. Different league, same story. Once trust is broken, the damage lasts years. Here's where this goes beyond sports. The WNBA isn't just selling basketball, it's selling a promise of fairness, transparency, and representation. Break that promise and you don't just hurt fans, you hurt the movement that women's basketball has fought decades to build. The petition says it best. This apparent consumer deception threatens not only the economic interest of fans, but also the integrity of professional sports. And that's the whole ballgame right there. So what happens next? Fans aren't staying quiet. The petition is gaining signatures every day. Social media is blowing up with outrage, and whispers of lawsuits keep getting louder. The WNBA has two choices: admit mistakes and rebuild trust, or double down and risk an all-out revolt. Because here's the truth. Without fans, there is no league. And if the DOJ or FTC actually step in, the entire way sports leagues handle injuries, marketing, and fan communication could change forever. So let's wrap this up. We've got a petition pushing for federal investigation. We've got fans accusing the league of deception. We've got whispers of lawsuits. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the most hyped women's basketball player of the modern era, caught in the middle of a storm about loyalty, money, and trust. The big question isn't just when she'll return, it's this: can fans ever trust the WNBA again? Because if the league loses that trust, the future of women's basketball might never be the same. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think the NBA played fans dirty? Or is this just hype being blown out of proportion? And before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because this story is far from over.